Hey guys, I'm Kevin. Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at one of my favorite songs, Suspicious Minds by the King, Elvis Presley. So I know we've done Can't Help Falling in Love quite a while ago, but I thought it was time to return to the King and do a feel-good song here while we're in the quarantine. 2020. What a year it's been. So we're going to take a look at the chords, the strumming pattern, and do a consolidated play along at the end. So get tuned up and let's get to it. All right, let's take a look at the strumming pattern here. So the pattern will go up, down, up, mute. So there's two different ways of doing the mute or the chuck. And if you watched my recent tutorial about muting/chucking, you're already on top of this. But I'll give you a little refresher here. So to do the mute with your strumming hand, you're just going to simply cover the sound hole. So I'm holding a G chord here. You're following along, so it's up, down, up, mute. So that goes through the entire song. We'll go with a little more pace for that, but let's just try that together. If we're doing the palm mute, real quick here, just kind of a little short version. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up, down, up, clap, up, down, up, clap, up, down, up, clap. If you need to spend a little time with that, just kind of getting comfortable with the strum, go for it. Now let's just check it out here with our fretting hand. So as I mentioned in my video on muting, you want to either use your extra fingers to mute, or maybe your thumb, or maybe you're rolling your hand. So check that out if you really want to go further into the muting thing, but I'll just give you a little brief showing here of this. So when I mute with my fretting hand, I'll play up, down, up, and then I just do another down strum, but I release the pressure from my fingers here and take my thumb and wrap it over the top for the G chord. So that gives me that muted sound, or the chuck. So if you want to try to play that with me now, that would just be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, down, up, chuck. Up, down, up, chuck. Up, down, up. Up, down, up. Whoa, I got a little sound in that last one there. But regardless, that is the strumming pattern for the tune. So if you need to spend a little time getting comfortable with that, rewind back, try a couple exercises, and I'll see you here for the verse. All right, let's check out the chords for the verse here. So the first chord that we need is the G chord. The whole song is based around G. So G, you can see in the diagram below, but we're playing that with middle finger on the A string, 2nd fret, ring finger on the E string, 3rd fret, and the index finger on the C string on the 2nd fret. That should sound like this. A nice easy chord here for chord number 2 is the C chord. Now, for this situation, I'm going to have you play the C chord either with your ring finger here on the 3rd fret, or, I know this is weird, but we're going to play it with our pinky. Because it's a 1-finger chord, I always call it a situational chord, and I'll show you why. We're using the pinky because the 3rd chord we're going to use here for the verse is a D chord. So as you can see, if I'm holding a C chord with my pinky, my index, middle, and ring finger are available here if I'm hovering them over the fretboard to just drop down and play that D chord. So that might be a little awkward. I know our pinky is kind of that elusive finger to train, but if you can get used to doing that, this switch here from G, dropping down your pinky for C, and then having these 3 fingers available to go to D, will really make things easier as you're getting into chord switching. And I always feel like you want the path of least resistance, so you try to find those little tricks and places that you can pivot off of fingers and have available fingers. All right, now that you're comfortable with the chords, let's do a little playthrough here of the verse. So I'll be using the up, down, up, clap strum here, and I'll do that with my strumming hand to make it a little bit easier. So just follow along on the chords below and you can see how many times to play each of them. Here we go, starting on the G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, down, up, clap. Up, down, up, clap. 3, 4, C. G, 2, 3, 4, to the C, 3, 4, and D, C, and then end it with G 4 times. 2, 3, 4. All right, let's check out the chorus now. So the chords we need for the chorus, and I know you're gonna say, Kevin, why are you making me do a bar chord? I don't want to, but it's Elvis's fault. But the first chord we need for the chorus is nice and easy, C chord. We have a G chord, and then the good old bar chord. So we're gonna use a B minor chord. So to play B minor, we bar the bottom 3 strings here on the 2nd fret, and we try to keep this nice and flat. If you want to watch an entire series on bar chords, I have you covered if you want to check that out. But we're also going to add our ring finger here to the 4th fret on the G string. So that chord sounds like this. You really want to make sure you get all of those notes to ring. The other option, if you're not feeling this, I will give you is you could play B minor 7. It doesn't sound exactly the same, but to play that, you can just cover the entire 2nd fret with your index finger, or if you're feeling a little bit crazy, you can use all 4 fingers to cover the 2nd fret. Not an ideal option, but yet an option for those of you who are going to resist me on bar chords. The 4th chord we need is an E minor chord, the little staircase here. 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and 4th fret with the index, middle, and ring finger. And then finally, we just need a D chord here for the end of the chorus. And you can play that with middle, ring, and pinky on the top 3 strings on the 2nd fret, or again, you could play it with index, middle, and ring as well. So those are the chords for the chorus. We're going to do a little short play along here of just the chorus, going nice and slow, using the up, down, up, clap, strum with our strumming hand. So I'll walk us through it here, starting on a C chord. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, down, up, down, up, G, B minor, to C, and D, then E minor, B minor, and then C, and then D twice. So if you need to spend a little time just working on these chord transitions, I will mention that anytime you're playing a chord sequence and you find a little spot, like say going from G to B minor, you can always just take those chords out of the equation and work on them for a little bit. And I always suggest just doing that with your fretting hand, walking from chord to chord several times in a row before you put that back into the progression. So just, if you need to spend some time going from G to B minor, or from E minor to B minor, just do that chord switch a bunch of times with your fretting hand and really watch your fingers as you play that until you feel comfortable, and then try to play the progression again. And I promise you, if you do that a little bit every day, you'll get more comfortable with the full progression. So just a little tip there for the chorus. All right, let's check out the bridge. So with the bridge, you're going to use the exact same chords that we used for the chorus with the addition of the D7. So the way that I play D7 is with my middle finger and ring finger here on the G and E string on the 2nd fret. Some of you will play it with your index and middle finger, and that is okay. And some of us who love bar chords, which are few and far between, will play it with a full bar over the 2nd fret and middle finger on the 3rd fret on the A string. Your choice, but that D7 only happens one time in the end of the bridge. So let's play through the bridge now. The chords are sitting right below the screen here, If you want to check those out, we're just going to play through this nice and slow again with the same strumming pattern, just to get a good repetition before we put this whole tune together. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, down, up. B minor. C. D. Back to E minor. B minor. C. 2, 3, 4 to D. D7. And that is the bridge. All right, a little side note for you here. As I was thinking about this, I know that the B minor chord and the E minor sometimes are a little more challenging. So something that I like to do, if I have a little more challenging progression like this, is I will take the strumming pattern out of the equation and just play through the progression with my fretting hand and kind of count and maybe just do one strum as I go. So for example, if we were doing the bridge, I would play, and you can kind of follow along below with how many times, but I would just count as I did it. So I would say, starting on E minor, 1, 2, B minor, 2, C, 2, D, 2, E minor, 2, B, 2, C, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, D7, 2. That's just a little example of something I like to do that really helps me when I get into kind of trickier chord situations, and I hope it helps you too. All right, now for the fun part, time to play together. So we'll just do a nice, slow version of this consolidated with the intro, verse, chorus, bridge, and then back to the verse. So the intro is nothing new. We're just going to start with a G chord, playing that 4 times, just to kind of get us in the flow of things before we start going. So here we go from the top. Follow along, have some fun, stay loose. Remember, smile, you are playing uke. It's a good day. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, down, up. 2, 3, 4. To the verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. C with my pinky. 3, 4. D. C with my pinky. And G. Stay on the G. 1, 2, 3, 4. C. 2, 3, 4. D. C. G. Here comes the chorus, going to the C chord with our pinky. 1, 2, G. 2, B minor, don't be afraid. 2, C, D, E minor, B minor, and C, and D. Here comes the bridge. E minor, B minor, and C, D. Back to E minor, B minor, and C. We're almost there. Keep it going. 3, 4, D, D7. Let's go back to verse 1, because that's how the song ends. 2, 3, 4 to the C. 2, 3, 4. We're going to end it here with a D, C, G. C, 2, and then G 4 times. 2, I hope you guys are ready to sing along with me here. We're going to go with a little bit more pace, and we're going to play it with the lyrics. So here we go from the top, starting on the G chord. Loosen up, have some fun. Let's play some uke. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. I do. There we go. And why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe what I say? Here we go to the chorus. We can't go on together with suspicious minds. Then we can build our dreams with suspicious minds. And let our love survive. Dry those tears from your eyes. Don't let a good thing die, 'cause honey, I never lie. Back to verse 1. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. One more time. Why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe what I say? 2, 3, 4. So if you're playing along with the recording, you want to make sure that you just keep playing verse 1 over and over and over again at the end of the song. I believe it happens 4 times, so I know it's a little weird spot to end there, but you're just going to keep going back to the first verse because that's what the king wanted. All right, well, I hope you guys had fun watching me impersonate Elvis, which, I don't know, if you want to give me a score of 1 to 10 in the comments, be nice, guys, come on. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you had some fun. I hope you're feeling better about the B minor chord. I know it's a little bit tricky, but you got to stick with it. You got to stick with bar chords. They take time. Patience is a virtue. If you guys like this video, join me for the full play along of this song. I'll leave that in the description for you. So if you want to skip through all of the madness and just get right to it, you're more than welcome to do so. If you like this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click that little alert bell so you know when the next video is coming. We're releasing 2 to 3 videos every week right now, so we have a ton of content for you that I'd love to share. So, last but not least, if you want a song sheet for this, go to allforuke.com. I have song sheets and a massive song library that's ever expanding for you guys. So, my name's Kevin. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This sunny day. Floor sandwich.